Hello everyone, it's Theme Park Avenue, I am Eric, and here's the newest tier list. Today, I'm going to be doing a tier list for every Six Flags park. Before we begin, subscribe to the channel so you know when new theme park content comes out. We do plenty of tier lists, but we also have rankings, reviews, and content both serious and funny. Now, something I will point out, it seems Six Flags Over Georgia is not in this collection, and Mexico is. I've not been to Six Flags Mexico, so I won't rank that. I'm just going to put that at kind of the end of the line so I remember not to do it. And regarding what each tier is going to mean, S tier will be best of the best Six Flags parks, top tier, not many flaws, great rides, things like that. A will be parks I think are fantastic and I love them and would easily go back, but they're not quite up there with the S tier. B tier will be very good parks I enjoy my time at, maybe have some flaws or are shortcomings in terms of the ride lineup, but it's not one that's bad, but also not a great park either. C will be decent parks, ones that are okay, I can have a fun time at them, but from a more objective standpoint, they're not the best. And then D will be the weakest parks. Maybe I can have fun at them, but definitely just really low down on the list. Now I see Six Flags Over Georgia's not on here, so right off the bat, Over Georgia would have gone in B tier. I find its ride lineup is possibly more A tier worthy, but I just don't think there's anything else that really helps boost the ride lineup. The operations are poor, the layout is poor, the atmosphere is decent, but it would definitely be a B tier for me. So let's begin with what's on here. Six Flags America, that will go in C tier. I enjoy the park. Its top 4 is quite strong with Superman Ride of Steel, Batwing, Wild One, and Joker's Jinx, not in that order by the way. And I also feel that there is just a lot of flaws in terms of the appearance here that kind of holds it back. You have a good ride lineup, but the park doesn't look great, operations are pretty strong, and I like it. It's one of the better C tier parks that'll end up, I'm sure, but it's still just a decent park overall. Alright, Darien Lake, I'm also going to put that in C tier. It is lower than America for me. I still like the park a lot. Its top 3 is pretty strong. Its appearance is decent. Its operations are fine. Most of the park is just fine. Unfortunately, the ride lineup really thins out after the top 3. There aren't a whole lot of flat rides, so it is a little weaker than others. It doesn't have a lot to it, and what it does have isn't all that great. Six Flags Over Texas, the original park, that's going to go in A tier. A fantastic one for sure, where pretty much every roller coaster there I consider underrated. New Texas Giant is underrated, Mr. Freeze a little underrated, Titan very underrated. Runaway Mountain is extremely underrated. That's one of my favorite Premier Rides coasters ever. Then you have Runaway Mine Train, which is the best era mine train. You have Shockwave, which is very good. Batman the Ride is always an underrated invert. And I think it's just a fantastic collection overall. I like the appearance. The layout is the biggest flaw. And if the layout were really strong, this could possibly be an S tier park, but for now it's definitely going to stay in A. Six Flags Great America. That is going to go in S tier. That is my favorite of the Six Flags parks, and I know that is an unpopular choice, but I just find it to be quite fun. The main thing that stands out with that one is that it has a stacked roller coaster lineup. It doesn't have a standout elite roller coaster, though I think Raging Bull is quite underrated. But you have 14 really strong roller coasters. I guess technically there are 2 kiddie coaster type things there, but those 2 are pretty good. And then you have essentially 10 fantastic rides in the park, with Raging Bull, X-Flight, Goliath, Max Force, all of these other ones. I think it's an underrated lineup. The appearance is one of my favorites, the operations are among the best, the layout is easily the best. And I get that some don't love the park, but I think it's underrated and I love my time there, and I've never had so much fun at a Six Flags park. Discovery Kingdom, that will go in B tier. Definitely an underrated one for me. The ride lineup is definitely better than the ones that are currently below it, but it's not as good as these 2. The important thing though is the appearance of the park is among the best in the chain. You have a lot of pretty good SeaWorld style theming in the front, the animal attractions are good, And the butterfly garden is one of the highlights of the park for me. I had a lot of fun with some of the natural things that were there, and I just had a lot of fun in the park. It's more enjoyable than the ones below it for me, even if the roller coaster lineup and ride lineup overall is not amazing and operations could use some work. I enjoyed the park quite a bit. Great Escape is my least favorite park in the chain, so that's a D tier for sure. I get that some like it, and I understand that. I did not go on a very great day. The main thing, I do love quite a bit of things about this park. Comet is great, Adirondack Outlaw is a great booster flat ride, I love those. And outside of that, there's nothing for rides, but there are some nice looking areas, and I like the setting of the park. Unfortunately, operations were by far the weakest in the chain for me, and that's compared to Over Georgia, which I did not put on here, but that's saying quite a bit. So while there is some merit to the park, it's not my favorite. Six Flags Fiesta Texas, that is going to go in A tier, but it's pretty close to S. I did not choose the best day to go here. It just so happened that Wonder Woman Golden Lasso Coaster was closed, Dr. Diabolical had not opened yet, and Iron Rattler was running at one train capacity with the front train closed due to maintenance. And also, I find there are quite a few issues with rides opening at the park, such as Joker the Frisbee not opening for the first 20 minutes or so, and plenty of rides sporadically closing throughout the day. That said, the atmosphere and appearance here are so mind-blowing. It puts every other Six Flags park in the dust. The big thing is that you have themed lands that are surprisingly cohesive, and that is just surprising to me because no other Six Flags park quite has that. The rides I did get on are good. Iron Rattler is one of my favorite roller coasters. The operations are pretty strong. The layout is one of the best. And I think mainly the appearance is what stands out here, complementing the very strong ride lineup. If I got on Golden Lasso Coaster, this could have been S tier, I'm sure, but for now it has to sit at A. Frontier City. This is many people's least favorite. I'll put it in D. When I went, Diamondback and Silver Bullet were closed, so I did miss out on the two best rides, but there is Gunslinger and Quick Draw as some fun non-coaster rides. The park looks great the whole way through. The Frontier City theme is carried out all the way through the park, and there's a lot of merit to it. I had more fun here than Great Escape, even if it is technically a worse park objectively. Great Adventure. I hear so much hate thrown toward this park recently, but I'm gonna definitely put it in S tier. It is barely behind Great America for me, and it's probably better objectively. When I really think about it, Great Adventure's ride lineup is super stacked. King Dakar, El Toro, Jersey Devil, Nitro, and Medusa as your top 5. No park is a top 5 as strong as that. Only Cedar Point for me of the ones I've been to. And then you have so many other great roller coasters. Batman the Ride with its fantastic new paint job. Not to mention I like the Batman rides. You have Superman. You have Dark Knight Coaster, which is underrated. You have Joker. It's pretty good. You have plenty of non-coaster rides such as Zumanjaro and Cyborg Cyberspin to enjoy. I like the way some of the park looks, especially the left half with the way they did King Dakar and El Toro. That's honestly beautiful. Operations are far and away the best. The only thing I don't like about the park is the loose article policy, where you can't have anything on any ride. That said, I must give credit that pretty much every aspect of the park is great, and it is definitely one of the best run and best Six Flags parks. La Ronde is next, and everyone puts this in D. I do not put it in D. That's gonna go C or B tier. I'm not sure. It's definitely closer to Discovery Kingdom than it is to America, but not by much. So I'm gonna put that in the B tier. It is just an underrated park. The main thing that stands out for me is the fantastic atmosphere and location. You have an island, which the park is situated on, a lake in the middle of the island, which looks great, and the rides are built around it. You have an underrated ride lineup with Goliath and Vampire being a strong top 2, and the flat ride collection being not too far off from the legendary ones of Canada's Wonderland and similar. So I love that, and it is just overall a park I enjoyed. The operations were better than expected, and I did not really have any problems my whole day there. It's some of the most fun I've had at a Six Flags park, even if objectively it's more of a C tier. Now for Magic Mountain, and many would put this in S tier, but I'm sorry, it's not S tier. I'll say it's my number 3 Six Flags park, but that's mainly just because of the roller coasters. Outside of roller coasters, you do have some nice appearances of rides, and a good setting. So that is a strong thing that adds to it a little, but the biggest issue is operations and layout. Layout is not the worst in the chain for sure, but unfortunately it does make it somewhat difficult if you want to try to get on everything. Especially getting the Superman is egregious. But the bigger issue is operations because constant breakdowns and everything is one train on crowded days. And it's kind of not well kept as a park. Some areas are honestly like a dump. And if they weren't, this could have been S tier. And if they had one other good roller coaster when I went. Flight of Courage was not open yet. That may have been enough to move it to S tier, because I do like Jersey Devil a lot. But for now, I'm sorry, it has to go in A tier. Six Flags New England. That's also going to go in A tier, though it is definitely the lowest of that group. It has the best top 2 of any Six Flags park. After that, you just have a bunch of decent rides that really aren't great, but they are decent. And the appearance is nice. I like the setting of the park. Superman is an imposing figure and one of the most beautiful roller coasters I've ever seen. The operations are pretty strong, only one breakdown the whole day I was there. Not much else to say. Definitely want to give a bad rap in the past, but it's now quite good. And Six Flags St. Louis is the final one. And some might say it's underrated, I will not. I'm gonna put that in C tier. For me, it's between America and Darien Lake. Maybe I should order that if you guys want that. I can order all of these, but the thing with St. Louis is that I just feel like, unfortunately, the wooden coasters were not as good as I expected, with Boston Screaming Eagle both being a bit too uncomfortable to really be fun rides, on top of their great elements. They have 2 great steel coasters in Mr. Freeze and Batman. American Thunder was closed. The appearance of the park, while the setting is nice, unfortunately the way they did the theming is somewhat terrible. Some areas look nice, but their attempts at theming make me wish they'd gone for nothing at all, and the operations here were fine. So overall, that is my list. See, my top 2 that stand well above the rest are the Great A parks, Great America and Great Adventure. Then in this tier, you have Magic Mountain, Fiesta Texas, Over Texas, and New England. Quite a bit of range there, but A tier has some great parks. And then the B tier, Discovery Kingdom, Over Georgia, not here, and Ronde. They vary quite a bit, but I enjoy them, and they're very good parks. And then C tier has these good parks in America, St. Louis and Darien Lake. And then the bottom tier has smaller ones that are still fun, but not much special. And that is the whole list. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tier list, and I hope you're not too upset. Remember, it is just one guy and his experiences. Subscribe for more theme park content. I'll see you next time.